think eSports is a strange phenomenon. I used to live with a guy that was on the Wolfenstein, not Wolfenstein 3D, the later version, British team, and he got flown to Vegas to take part in this and won a considerable amount of money. And before that, I thought the concept was completely ridiculous. But after we came back with a check and sponsorship and everything else, I suddenly thought, this is actually a viable option for like a career. Personally, I couldn't see myself doing it, and I wouldn't really see it as a career because there's thousands and thousands of people that do it. And most people, I would imagine, use gaming for recreation. But I haven't got a problem with it, but I don't think it could ever be as mainstream as football or rugby or basketball or anything like that.
Would you ever go to an event yourself?
I wouldn't go to an event. I would imagine watching someone else play a computer game would be pretty boring.
Okay.
I believe that esports are really good. The competition side of it always keeps the games replayable from obviously the developer side, and also for the people that want to act to see who's the best at each game. Having a new, as you know, there's a new one coming to London, an esports convention, that'll bring up the UK version of the esports up much better. It would bring the competition to the games. It would bring the replayability, as I said. Esports, I believe it's coming up much better.
Esports is, I don't know, it's quite a big thing actually. If you look at people like when you see them playing League of Legends, and they're all in this massive arena with 50,000 people around watching them, like a football game, and there's massive trophies and massive prizes and everything like that. I think it's something that's going to go quite far in and of itself, but I don't think it's a sport in the physical sense that most sports are. Most sports are very physical. For example, football, or rugby, or anything like that. They involve some level of physicality, which games don't necessarily. I understand, obviously, you're using your hands and hand-eye coordination, and you've got to think and everything like that, and problem-solving skills and everything as well. But it's not the same level of physicality.
Include, I mean, the whole point of sports is like along lines of physical sort of like events. I mean, it can be mental if you like, but the whole point of the sports as a goal is to make sure that it's competitive. So if you were to include, not everyone thinks that esports is a thing simply because it's not as physical as most sports. But if you were to include virtual reality in a game for esports, I think the possibilities would actually be a lot more larger, and also I think more people would accept it. But one thing that I do think that is a problem with esports is that where it's kind of difficult to make an esports game, there are certain genres as well that you definitely can't cater for esports. But League of Legends work because, as far as I'm concerned, it's like a very complex version of chess. But if you tried to make a racing game for it, or if you tried to make a generic first-person shooter, I don't think it will have the correct elements to be considered an esports game unless they really, really changed the way that the mechanics work or the way that players interact with the game environment.
Okay, so esports. My understanding is it's good compared to some people. Like, I'll watch the League of Legends streams. I've watched Dota streams. I've watched the CS:GO ones. I watched quite a few of them, and then just seeing how they're getting on. And over the years, it has really increased pace. It's become a lot more popular. It's ever expanding. Like, players in esports get athlete visas to travel the world to compete in other tournaments and play with their teams and stuff. So it's a great opportunity for players who are really good at their sports.
I think personally, you can take it as seriously as you would take another game as a sport. So, for instance, darts, snooker, etc. It would rely on the same level of skills, same level of knowledge, same level of ability as a lot of those sports. So I think, in answer to your question, if you're going to look at something like snooker or darts as a game or as a sport, then yes, you've got to take it as seriously as that. Certainly, if you look at viewing figures, it's probably as popular as those sports are now, and it's certainly getting more popular by the year. So yeah, I would suggest that you have to take it seriously, because the people that do do take it very seriously.
Esports, it shouldn't be called esports at all. It's more, you can play Wii Sports, in your living room. You can play on your PS3, sit on the couch and things, but you're not actually getting exercise properly. Maybe with the Wii, you can see you're getting fit, kinda, but to do it actually as a tournament with people there, like competing. Yeah, that's sport, like side of it, like where people are just competitive with each other, but no one's actually physically doing anything. It's more just they're just playing games kind of thing. It's more of a gaming convention, and there's no real sportsmanship kind of thing happening. There's no, if it was on the TV, I wouldn't consider watching it as such, because it's not. I wouldn't find it that entertaining. And like real sports, like if it's like the Olympics, for example. I don't know what to say about it. I don't really know the whole subject of it, about esports.